So you were all, most of you anyway, were following along in the misled, right? Right? So you know I didn't make that up just for my own purposes, right? It's pretty lucky though, you do have to admit it, right? I mean, a guy that's coming to beg for money, you know. Well, I think so anyway. Yeah, you know, if we're all about saving up for ourselves, where's it going to go again? You know, I had a parishioner down in Silk Street. He always said, you know, I've been to he was about 88 years old. He said, Father, I've been to a lot of funerals, and I've never once seen a U-Haul connected to a casket. Oh, wow. It's a really, really powerful statement, isn't it? We can't take it with us. And so we're called to be good stewards of that. And I know all of you here, you've got a high school, you've got a grade school that you're supporting, and you're doing a great job. I understand there was a garage sale today that's going to support your parish. You're doing these things that help things along. So I'm here to present yet another opportunity. And I know you need another one of those, like you need another draft, right? But hopefully you can see your way to maybe helping us out over at St. Augustine Union Mission. The beautiful thing, I think, for us is that it's right here in the Archdiocese of Korth. I always tell people throughout this Archdiocese when I go around preaching is that, I feel that we all have something to be proud of. The fact that we are still supporting an Indian mission. We're supporting the work of a canonized saint. Because the Indian mission, it's the only place in the state of Nebraska that we know for a fact a saint has walked among us, a canonized saint. Mother Catherine Drexel came to Nebraska in 1909. She rode by train, she got to Omaha, they went and got her by buckboard, and she made that bumpy trip all the way up to Winnebago, about 90 miles. And then she stayed there and oversaw the construction of the first school, the convent, and the early church. I had the good fortune of waking up in the morning and looking at him and saying, well, I get to go out and follow the footsteps of the saint today. No pressure there, right? But actually that's what we're all called to do. We're all called to follow the footsteps of the saints. We just have it a little bit more concrete over there in Winnebago, where we know that a saint has actually lived among us for a short period of time. We're still continuing to do the same work that she started. We've expanded, grown. The numbers have grown. We now serve we're expecting 115 students this fall. Actually, a week from Wednesday, starting back up again in grades K through 8. That's what we remain as a K grade grade school, serving the children on the Winnebago and the Omaha reservation. Many of you know I grew up in Randolph, right? It's not that far from here. It's not that far from the reservations. But I can honestly say that growing up, I never went over to the reservations. I didn't set foot on the Winnebago reservation until after I was ordained a priest. And our youth went up there, and so I went up there with them. So I don't assume that everybody in Northeast Nebraska knows what's going on up there and how the setup is. I can tell you this, some of the poorest people in the state of Nebraska are right there. You hear a lot about the poverty that exists, out west and the South Dakota on the reservations out there. Well, we've got basically the tale of two majorly different reservations now. Back in the 1980s when I was in high school, those reservations looked a lot the same. There was over 80% unemployment on both reservations. But today, there's a gap growing between the two, especially when it comes to the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate on the Winnebago Reservation is around 15% right now. Which if it was 15% across the country, we'd be screaming about bloody murder. But when you go down from 80-some%, that's a really good thing. And when you compare it to the Omaha Reservation, which you don't even, it's an invisible line between the two reservations. You can't tell other than a road sign that you've crossed from one to the other. You get down to the Omaha Reservation, you've got 70% unemployment still today. There's still dire poverty there. What's the difference? Well, I believe it comes down to tribal leadership. And the good fortune that the Winnebagos have had to have an individual who went off to get an economics degree from the University of Nebraska, and then went on to get a law degree from Harvard. And he's come back to set up the company, the economic development arm of the tribe. It's a business called Ho-Chunk Incorporated. And you may have heard about them. They were going for the bid for the casino, land-based casino in Sioux City. Unfortunately, they didn't get it. And so a lot of that money that'll be handed over at that casino will go off who knows where. Okay, but at least with Ho-Chunk, we would have known that the money would have been staying local. Okay. So we've got a situation where there's a lot more jobs being created, but unfortunately, a lot of those jobs that the people are holding in Winnebago are very, basic level, minimum wage kind of jobs. Over 75% of our children in our school are at or below the poverty line. Okay? Over 75% of our kids. So, but a lot of them have parents that are not working. So that's a wonderful step. And we're hopeful that we're in the process of maybe breaking generational poverty. Okay, ever since the mid-1800s, when those reservations were set up, they've been in a system of poverty, a situation in need of handout. With the Winnebagos creating jobs for themselves, they're getting to that point where they can hopefully take care of themselves more and more. But that's where our school, I think, is even ever more important. Because our school is proven that we do a better job of preparing these kids. We give them spiritual formation, character formation, as well as solid academic preparation. One of our kids a few years ago went down to Mount Michael, and he was able to make it academically. Didn't do quite the job he needed to do character formation-wise with him. Got this close to being kicked out, and then he decided to drop out. But he finished up at England. But he said that we did a good job of preparing him academically for the rigors of Mount Michael and healing for that matter. We usually have at least one child, one or two kids that are going through healing. So the kids that finish in our school, they have that kind of drive. They can go on to a college prep high school and make it, which will prepare them for college, which will then prepare them for jobs that are waiting for them. And that's the thing that's changed now, that there are jobs waiting for kids that come back with college degrees. And so we'll continue, hopefully, to see the standard of living increase. We're striving, the strategic plan we have in place right now calls for us to reach out to more and more, see what we can do on the Omaha Reservation, to maybe do some after-school programs and so forth. So we're continually trying to reach out to the poorest of the poor in our state. I'm here to ask for your help. There's going to be a second collection. We're going to take that up after communion. For those ushers out there, make note, okay? That'll come after communion. We'll take up that second collection. That'll go through the Mission Co-op plan, and then we'll get a check from the Archdiocese. I also have a table set up in the back. As you can see, there's a star quilt up here. I'm taking the star quilt to all the parishes that I'm preaching at throughout the Archdiocese this summer and selling chances for that. So I've got raffle tickets. We're going to sell these one for $1, or we'll give you a bargain. We'll give you 6 for $5. Nice. Yeah, so we get that bargain. Also, I've got calendars out there. This is an award-winning, nationally award-winning calendar. That's available at the back. These are free, okay? So get them while they're hot. There's only 6 months left of it, so go ahead and pick these up and take them with you. There's a way that you can get one that's hot off the press, and that's if we have your address. Some of you I know we do, so I'd say thank you for that. But if you'd like to get on the mailing list, you can get that award-winning calendar when it comes right off the press. I also have my new CD, my second CD, is for sale out there. All the proceeds from the sale of the quilt, or raffle tickets, and the CDs, all of that goes into our mission, okay? The second CD I put out, flute music, I titled Counting Among Her Saints. It was in honor of the canonization of Kateri Tekakwitha, the first Native American woman canonized by the church. So that CD is available in the back. And I have a few copies of this new program I'm trying this summer. I want to get this out into the hands of farmers. It's called a program I'm calling Crops for Kids. And it's a way for farmers to give a donation pre-income. You won't pay a dime of taxes on this. Because what I'm asking people to do is to take some of your crop to the elevator, to the feedlot, wherever you take it, and have the check written out to the mission directly to us. You know, if you open the gate up for a while and go and reweigh, and whatever you drop off, they can make a check out. Or if you want to just go ahead and keep the door open and unload the whole load, and have them send the check to us. In that way, you'd be following the gospel that we just heard. Right? Looks like we might be in for a very good harvest. Instead of building bigger barns, instead of doing what the foolish man in Jesus' parable did, and just building bigger barns and keeping all that for himself, I ask you to prayerfully consider giving a small portion over for these children on the reservation. Again, it's all tax-free, so it's one excellent way that you can forego paying that income tax that is somewhat questionable where all that money is going to stay. So those are some opportunities that you're able to help us. Again, I say thank you. It's good for me to be back here, especially not burying one of my own sons. So it's good to be back just to simply celebrate with all of you and to share the good news about what we're doing down in the Bay. Thank you, and God bless you.